WIMPAC 2012, le plus important exercice maritime au monde. Il met en jeu 42 navires, dont le porte-avions Nimitz, 6 sous-marins, 200 avions et 25 000 personnes provenant de 22 pays. Le sous-marin canadien Victoria doit se démarquer ici. L'équipage doit intensifier ses efforts et remplir sa mission, tirer une torpille opérationnelle Mark 48 vers une cible et la couler. Après 10 années de difficultés, le pays est en attente.
A lot of hard work has gone into introducing this new submarine into service, right? People forget, I mean, Canada's got one of the largest coastlines in the world, and we've got millions of square miles of ocean to monitor, right? And for us to exercise jurisdiction over that water, we've got to be able to patrol on it, above it, and underneath it. And that's where submarines come in. It's a very capable platform to have. It's a good capability to have, and there's over 40 countries out there with over 400 submarines active. And those numbers are growing. Why? Because submarines are a force multiplier. Stars, Captain. Clear the bridge, come below, shut a cliff, con tower upper lid.
Le commandant Chris Ellis prend le commandement du sous-marin canadien Victoria en 2011. Il a du pain sur la planche. À l'arrivée de l'automne, il commande le seul sous-marin en mer de la MRC parmi 4. Le Victoria est entré en cale sèche en 2005 et son programme de maintenance de 2 ans a été prolongé plusieurs fois en raison de problèmes d'ingénierie imprévisibles et de la nécessité de fabriquer ou acheter du matériel de remplacement. La préparation du sous-marin en vue d'une mer impitoyable a exigé un travail minutieux et très méthodique. Il fallait le faire pour assurer le fonctionnement sécuritaire du sous-marin. À présent, la confiance règne et le Victoria est prêt pour les opérations pendant 6 années complètes. Les forces sous-marines sont déficientes quand le commandant Ellis entre en poste. Il doit régler la situation. Son équipage et lui se mettent au travail.
Over the last year, there's been a lot of high-profile milestones. The first happened in April 2011 when we actually undocked the submarine after being in the graving dock for 5.5 years. This was quickly followed by the next milestone, which was a camber dive. Now, what we do for a camber dive is we statically dive the submarine here in harbor to verify the watertight integrity of all the systems on board. We completed the camber dive with very few defects identified, and from that point forward, the pace just picked up. We've set sail in December 11, and when we set sail, first thing for us to do is to verify that the crew can safely operate the submarine at sea. So what we do there is we take in a team of experienced assessors on board, our sea training group, and what they do is they exercise a team in being able to respond to anything we might encounter at sea. For example, a fire, flood, hydraulic burst, electrical failures.
Fire, fire, fire! Fire in the WSC! Fire, fire, fire! Fire in the WSC! Stop snorting, stop snorting, stop snoring!
We're going to be exercising our damage control organization. We're going to be simulating a fire in one of the compartments on board the submarine. And what we'll see is everyone in the submarine will bring it to a heightened state of readiness, which is emergency stations. Everyone will move to their position throughout the boat. We'll quickly be dispatching 2 members of the team dressed in red vests with extinguishers. They'll proceed immediately to the scene, try to extinguish the fire using first aid firefighting appliances. And if that fails, then we'll be backing them up with a full firefighting team dressed in breathing apparatus, and they'll be making their way through the boat.
Le réseau remorqué du sous-marin est déployé et testé. Ce câble s'étend sur plus d'1 mille et il est bourré de capteurs acoustiques de basse fréquence. Les navires et les sous-marins utilisent les réseaux remorqués pour détecter les sons à basse fréquence. Les hydrophones sont montés à des endroits bien précis sur la longueur du câble. Les contacts sont traités et affichés pour les opérateurs de sonar qui analysent les renseignements, placent la cible et choisissent les solutions de tir possibles.
This is a submarine towed array deployment that we're conducting. In Esquimalt, they've attached a stub cable, which is a hardpoint connection between the submarine and our equipment on board this vessel, the towed array vessel. We're going to be going alongside the submarine to relatively close quarters on it, and we'll transfer the electrical connection from the submarine over to our vessel. And we'll connect our tow cables from the 10-foot container in behind you and do some electrical checks. Once those passed, then we'll be streaming the cable from this at approximately 2 to 4 knots. It takes us about 1 to 2 nautical miles to stream this whole cable out to its effective length.
Le Victoria navigue vers le nord et atteint le champ de tir sous-marin Winchelsea, près de Nanuus, en Colombie-Britannique.
We're currently at Winchelsea Island right now. This is the Range Operations Center, affectionately known as the Rock. So from this control room here, we have in front of us the Straits of Georgia, a particular section known as Whiskey Gulf.
Georgia Strait is a unique body of water. It's deep enough and wide enough that we can test all of our devices to their limits, yet at the same time we can recover devices off the bottom, we can install our instruments on the bottom. It's not so deep as the open ocean. And of course Georgia Strait is a little more sheltered than off the west coast of Vancouver Island. It's just an ideal location that's well situated for both Canadian and U.S. naval installations that need this type of service.
Yeah, I need you to continue heading east, but I'd like you to also move about 300 to 400 yards south.
Exercise area Whiskey Gulf is 3 to 5 miles wide and about 15 miles long. The seabed is instrumented with over 40 different pieces of equipment, including tracking arrays, an underwater telephone transducer, and also hydrophones for listening to noise in the water. All of those bottom-mounted instruments are connected to Winchelsea Island by underwater cables. We have all the shoreside equipment for monitoring and recording all the data and displaying in real time the position of all objects on range.
Les techniciens d'armes embarquent une pleine charge de torpilles Mark 48 Mod 4, La torpille Mark 48 de calibre 533 mm est énorme. Elle mesure 19 pieds de long et pèse 3500 livres. Imaginez les effets dévastateurs lorsque sa charge militaire de 300 kg frappe la cible. Elle est conçue pour détruire les sous-marins nucléaires rapides à plongée profonde et les bâtiments de surface à haut rendement. Ces torpilles fonctionnent avec ou sans filoguidage, de même qu'avec des autodirecteurs actifs ou passifs. Elles peuvent effectuer plusieurs attaques si la cible échappe à la première frappe. Les sous-marins américains, australiens et hollandais utilisent ces torpilles.
There's been a lot of criticism about us not taking the Spearfish and the Royal Navy weapon control system when we bought these submarines back in the late 1990s. A decision was made that we would go with our own fire control and continue to use the Mark 48 torpedo. And there's various reasons why we likely made that decision. Though I wasn't part of the decision process, I can say as an end user, having come from Oberon's, we had started to gain a corporate knowledge and experience in employing the Mark 48 torpedo with the Oberon class. And so it was just a natural bridge for us to continue operating the same sort of weapon that we have historically. Also, our fire control system is very advanced, and we've been developing it as we go throughout the years. And having sailed with numerous allied navies, I can say this is a top-end fire control system, and it's designed to work with the Mark 48 torpedo. The advantage also of using the Mark 48 torpedo is you got to remember that the Americans have roughly about 60 submarines compared to the Royal Navy's 10. The American Navy also exports the Mark 48 to other countries, so there's a lot of people using the Mark 48 torpedo. So by us buying into and continuing to use the Mark 48 torpedo, we are gaining the benefits of a huge R&D cost that the Americans are doing in advancing this torpedo. and the economy of scale is obviously there as well.
Le rythme de travail augmente et l'on procède aux essais du système de conduite de tir au printemps 2012.
All positions, stand by, deliberate attack, track 9-9. Bring tube 6 to the patrol stage. What we're here doing this week is we're discharging shapes and exercise weapons to prepare the submarine capability and being able to deliver on the Mark 48 weapon capability. It's a long process. It involves a couple main pillars. The technical pillar, where we have to prove the fire control system and the torpedo tubes. And then there's the actual personnel pillar, where the training and the crew is trained on how to interact with the weapon. This is a smart weapon, and therefore once discharged, there's a lot of interaction between the operator and the weapon itself to get that weapon on target and on the correct target.
Correct. Victoria is cleared to fire tube 6, track 9-9.
Roger, Victoria is authorized to fire tube 6 at track 9-9. Left system. Safe fire key to fire.
Safe fire key to fire. Ready to fire.
Roger, ready to fire. Fire tube 6.
Fire tube 6. Fire! Impulse return.
Fire tube 6. GA 20 right.
Main motor start. Safe fire key to safe.
Hell.
Pre-enable last year in active state.
Les essais se déroulent sans incident.
It felt fantastic firing not only the first class Mark 48 exercise torpedo, but to finally weapon certify the Victoria class submarine. It's been over a decade now that since we've operated weapons from a Canadian submarine. You know, an exciting time for us, but a lot of efforts have gone in to get us here.
Le Victoria doit maintenant relever un défi de taille, naviguer 2300 milles marins vers Hawaï et participer à l'exercice RIMPAC 2012. Le Victoria devra démontrer ses capacités au cours d'un mois intensif de différents scénarios d'exercices tactiques.
It's an exciting time for us to be sailing for Rim of the Pacific exercise this summer. The Rim Pacific exercise happens every second year, always hosted in Hawaii by the United States Navy, and it is a huge, it's the largest international naval joint exercise in the Pacific. For Victoria to finally sail and be able to participate in this exercise, it's a huge milestone for us. It's an opportunity. It's going to be the largest naval exercise that these submarines have participated in since we purchased the submarines back in the late 1990s. There'll be other submarines from Allied navies there, other naval combatants, for us to test our worth against, to see how tactically and technically sound the submarine is against other navies.
Le sous-marin doit accomplir de nombreuses tâches pendant le mois d'exercice. Mais tous les participants anticipent, se préparent et se font des soucis pour le premier défi à relever, soit tirer une torpille Mark 48 vers le sous-marin désarmé de 9000 tonnes USS Concord au champ de tir près de l'île de Kauai.
Safe fire key to fire.
Safe fire key to fire.
Lower comms mast.
1,100 yards.
Fire.
Fire! Impulse return.
Hold out in the plane.
Main motor start. Safe fire key to safe. Left hand weapon operating correctly through remaining 94%.
White smoke has been fired.
Equipment now bearing 268. Put me on the line.
Weapon bears 268. No sign of turn back.
Runner enable 400 yards.
Break.
Exploder on. Possible wall by 2 blocks. We got it!
The weapon detonated. Breaking up sounds are now heard. Assess a hit. Carrying on with phase 1 damage checks and post-firing drills. That is all.
The sink exit was a fantastic moment. You know, it's so hard to express a lot of tension on board. We knew that the whole entire submarine community, the Royal Canadian Navy, you know, the military was watching us to perform that day, and so there's a lot of tension in the control room. Submarines have missed before, so there's a lot of tension on board as we were preparing to fire the shot to make sure we got the hit. So we fired, we went deep, and then and when we first hit that heard that bang, that detonation, we weren't too sure. Was that really it? And then all of a sudden we got all the subsequent explosions and breaking up noises of the ex-Concord, and so there was a big cheer throughout the submarine. You know, it was a great day.
Le travail d'ingénierie des Britanniques et ensuite des Canadiens, fait du Victoria un sous-marin de première classe extrêmement puissant. Le sous-marin est très difficile à détecter grâce à son alimentation par batterie, sa forme et ses tuiles anéchoïques. On a dit que c'est comme tenter de déceler le bruit d'un véhicule moteur particulier dans une grande ville à l'heure de pointe. Même en marche snorkel, sa signature est presque imperceptible, que ce soit par sonar, anomalie magnétique ou d'autres moyens non acoustiques. La MRC possède donc un avantage opérationnel important et le Canada bénéficie d'un atout stratégique unique.
And we're going to achieve that steady state before long here with one operational submarine on either coast, a third submarine ready to go, the fourth in deep maintenance. That's what we've always promised. It's taken longer than we hoped, but we're there.
It's been a long journey for the last 6 months. Taking the submarine, we wrapped up the extended docking work period, which was longer than planned. We got the submarine back to sea. We did our safety workups, our safety trials at sea, so we could safely employ the submarine at sea. We did all our first-class trials, included firing the first Mark 48 exercise torpedo. You know, the commander of the RCN has also said, you know, it's been a long beginning. You know, after the last 10 years, we've gained a lot of experience in maintaining these platforms, employing these platforms at sea, and now we're at that next step. That long beginning is over. You know, we are now moving forward, ready to tactically employ these submarines.